Hello and welcome to another episode of the ACC Insider Podcast here on the Field of 68 Media Network. And Goodman, we just finished recording a really fun interview with Syracuse guard Kiyan Anthony, which I think shows a little bit of personality that maybe people don't really see out of him, right? And I think that maybe there's a little bit of a reputation that he has there. And frankly, I don't know if it's necessarily a deserved reputation after talking to him and after watching him play. So we're going to get into that here in just a minute, but we do just kind of want to touch on Champions Classic. Duke won last night as we record this, probably Tuesday night, if it's going to be people listening to this on Thursday. But a really nice win for the Blue Devils, who have beaten Texas by 15, beaten Kansas by 12, and have not even looked like they've played anywhere near their best basketball yet.
That's the scary part, right? And that's the case for most teams at this point. But Duke's upside is so high. And I think the one thing that we saw last night in New York at the Garden was just the poise. And not that it was surprising for us, because we had seen the Boozer twins play plenty. But still, the fact that they didn't play a great game, that Cam Boozer finished with 18, 10, and 5, and he was fairly pedestrian by Cam Boozer's standards, is kind of insane. But this is a team. Like this isn't a team probably as talented as last year's Blue Devils team overall, but they're a really, really good basketball team with a lot of different pieces that I think fit well together. And now you're seeing, Caden Boozer start to play a little bit more, which we knew was going to happen at the point. We kind of both assume that he'll end up being the primary point guard, or you can play him with Caleb Foster maybe together at times. But this Duke team's going to get better and better and better. No surprise.
Yeah, I think that they are. Once they kind of get a little bit more comfortable offensively, is probably what I would say is the ceiling for them. North Carolina is still playing well. Louisville still looks awesome. In Syracuse, look, we touched on this a little bit with Kiyan. I think that the writing is on the wall that this is a team that could sneak into the conversation there with the likes of NC State. I would probably say with the likes of Virginia Tech, and the other top three teams in this league.
Yeah.
And we are going to get a sense of that and a real feel for that starting on Monday when they face off with the number 2 team in college basketball. Congratulations. You went 4-0 against the mid-majors. Now you get to play Houston. Good luck.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. But I think, again, they handled their business, which they haven't always done in the non-conference. So Syracuse handled their business. They've got a chance. Again, we knew the top of this league was going to be much better this year. But what they've done is gone out and proven it so far. And you need to do that now. I think, again, next week is such a pivotal week, not just for Syracuse, but for plenty of other teams in the league. These next few weeks, again, we talk about it over and over and over. They're the ones that determine ultimately how many teams you're going to get in the NCAA tournament, because they define your conference resume going into league play, which is very hard to kind of change. Once you're there, again, you have these teams that are, at the top that have put themselves in great situations, and those become resume wins for those middle teams. So super important here these next few weeks.
Yep. I 100% agree. We'll get a taste of how good the Syracuse team really is next week in the Players Era, which should be a lot of fun, man. I'm really looking forward to seeing that, because I think that there's a lot to like about the Syracuse team. But enough of us sitting here jabbering. Nobody wants to hear that. What they want to hear is Kiyan Anthony. Let's get into that interview right now. And now let me welcome on to the ACC Insider Podcast, none other than Syracuse freshman Kiyan Anthony, who is off to a great start this season, averaging almost 15 points a game as the Orange are sitting here at 4-0, getting ready to head out to the Players Era Festival. Kiyan, let me just start you off with this, man. 15 points per game as a freshman coming in. It's got to feel pretty good to be able to kind of get going early on in your career at Syracuse.
No, for sure. That was definitely one of my objectives coming in here. Just getting started early, not having to, wait, just trying to get everything out early and see what I need to fix, see what I can get better at. And I feel like we're doing a good job of that.
I love how much you've grown, man. Like, that's the biggest thing for me, is like in the last 2 years, how much you've grown, how much your game's grown, how much you've matured, right? As a not just on the court as a player, but probably mentally a lot too. We're coming off the bench. I don't know. Could you have handled that as well a year or two ago as you did this year?
Right, yeah, it's definitely an adjustment period. It was an adjustment period for me. Kind of just finding my role, and I feel like when JJ went down, giving me that opportunity to, step in there and show everybody what I'm capable of, kind of just getting the best of both worlds, coming off the bench, whether it's coming off the bench or starting, trying to just contribute any way I can and trying to find that rhythm throughout the game.
Tell people like what your game was like a couple of years ago, because I don't think people understand how far you've come on the court.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, my game was more outside, just shooting a lot of threes, and trying to get to my pull up and stuff like that. And just over the years, just living in the weight room, getting more comfortable with my body, getting more comfortable with my strength, and learning to absorb the contact and use my body more. And I feel like that's paid off for the first couple of games. And it's definitely a big factor in college because if you're not going to be able to get down there if you can't use your body. So definitely trying to emphasize on creating a contact and taking a bump. And I feel like I've been doing a good job of that.
So you got in the weight room, put on all that strength and muscle, learned how to get fouls to shoot 8 for 17 from the free throw line, Kiyan?
Yeah, man. I mean, me and my dad was joking about it yesterday, the free throws. It's crazy. It's different in an actual arena with the depth perception, the fans behind you. So got to get more comfortable at the free throw line. Not just me, but as a team, our guard play is not shooting well at all from the free throw line. So that's something we're trying to get better at, and that's something that coach is emphasizing.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with your ability early on this season to kind of be able to balance being aggressive without being too aggressive and taking a bunch of dumb shots, right? Like I think that's a hard thing for 18 and 19-year-olds to learn as freshmen when they come in, especially when you come in as a scorer off the bench, right? Has that been a little bit of an adjustment for you, learning what a good shot is and when a good time to take that shot is?
Yeah, I think when you're coming off the bench, the game has already started, the pace is already set. So that's the only difference from being in the starting lineup to coming off the bench. As a starter, you get to set the pace yourself. You get to fill it out firsthand. But coming in, you got to, see what it is and try to sustain it as the best way possible. And I feel like that was the only thing I had to adjust, really. As far as offense, it's natural for me. So whether I'm taking my shots in every 2 minutes or I'm hot and I'm shooting every time, I'm always going to find a way to, sneak a couple buckets in there, get a couple points. And I feel like, that's just what I do. So it's not going to be like totally different, but definitely an adjustment period.
Just that's hereditary, right?
Right. Yeah, man.
What give me after you have your second game of your college career and you're playing well, give me what either the conversation's like between you and your dad or maybe the text message is like. Is he the guy that's gonna, because I've seen him on the sideline at PGM. That dude is out of his mind. He is crazy. Sure. So what's it like with the two of you though? Is he the type that's, hey, you know what? Yeah, you play well, but you didn't do this, this, and this? Or is he the positive dad who's going to keep you, upbeat? Kind of what's he like?
He always positive for sure. Even in a negative, he always try to find something positive to say. It's not really a text message. I call him before every game. I call him after every game. So he was just super proud of me the first couple games, coming out here, setting the tone for the season. And, it's what he expected because we was in the gym all summer and, we was getting a lot of work. And so I don't think I necessarily exceeded his expectations, but probably exceeded a lot of other people's expectations. So just trying to stay consistent throughout the season. And, I talk to my dad every day, more than a text message for sure.
Right. You talk about expectations when you're coming in, right? Like Melo is a legend when it comes to college basketball, and you go to the same school and follow those footsteps. Like there's probably a great deal of expectation on you coming in, and that's not an easy thing to deal with. And you kind of ran straight to it, right? Like what has it been like? And have you felt that from people as you're kind of going through the start of your career here?
No, yeah, you definitely feel it. I feel it every day. Just coming to practice, I feel it in the games. I feel it before the games, but it's kind of just something I embraced and got comfortable with. Being comfortable, being uncomfortable. So whenever I feel like it's a new scenario for me, new situation, I kind of just dive into what I did before, just trying to find places to be comfortable and keep my mind right, and kind of just stay off of the internet, the media, and all the other opinions because that doesn't really drop you positive. So you just gotta keep a level head and just keep working, keep your head down, keep going.
Smart. Never read the comments, man. That's a very good decision.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
It took me a lot of years to figure that one out. So you're way ahead of me. So a few years ago, we saw Bronny go after 1 year, right? Go after 1 year. Didn't put up great numbers, but he goes after 1 year. And, you come in, and I know it's early, and I don't want to put this on you too early, but I'm curious to know, like, what's your mindset now coming into college? Is it, hey, I want to be one and done? Is it, because I've been told, like, even your dad is kind of, you and your dad are very kind of meticulous in this plan of like, hey, we don't need to rush this thing at all if it's not there.
I mean, one and done, I think that's everybody's goal. Like, as a freshman, as one of the top rated freshmen, you want to be able to say you want one and done. The NBA is definitely a goal of mine, a goal of everybody else's, in the collegiate level. And then I feel like once you get to college, you start to realize, like, it's closer than you think. Like, if I am one and done, I could be out here in the next couple months getting ready for the NBA. But, if the decision is to come back or do a sophomore campaign, it's definitely the right decision, following my people, following my dad. I trusted everything he told me up to this point, and it's worked for me tremendously. So if he tells me, I got to come back, do a couple things better, critique a little few things, then I'll definitely come back and, try my best to get out there next year. But definitely I'm looking at 2 years max, and, whatever happens this year will definitely teach me if I come back, and then next year, I'll know what to do as soon as I step in here.
Yeah, so you've had 4 bye games here, 4 kind of mid-major opponents. Next game you play is against the number 2 team in the country on national television at 6 o'clock during feast week when everybody's going to be tuning into college basketball. Are you ready for this? Like, it feels like you kind of thrive and want to be in the spotlight like that. And there's no bigger spotlight than playing Houston on national television in the Players Era Festival.
No, for sure. Definitely as a freshman, it's something you look forward to when you see your schedule. Along with all of my other freshman guys like Houston, like Kristen Nack, Kingston Flemings, guys I've been playing against basically my whole life, shared hotel rooms with, been on the road with, been at basketball camps with. So these is definitely my guys, and I feel like it's more so of just a competitive nature for the freshmen to just come out here and show what we could do. I feel like right now freshmen are kind of just taking over. Like the 2025 class is definitely a super stacked class and one of the best we've seen in a while. So for me to just be able to fit in there and be one of the top guys in that class, I feel like that's already a blessing. So I wouldn't say Houston is like the end-all be-all of the season, but it's definitely like a big game, definitely, the first national televised game, and we want to set the tone, and, we want to show everybody what we've been working on.
Yeah, the extra weight you put on will definitely help against those Cougars. Right?
No, for sure.
Those are some big boys. Those are some big physical dudes. This team, I think a lot of us, myself included, said, I think this is the year that Red Autry breaks through. You get back to the tournament, get kind of Syracuse basketball back to kind of where it needs to be. You got JJ back now healthy. Donnie's playing well. Again, like Rob said, not the stiffest competition yet, but that'll change next week. Why? What's the one single thing that you look at and you say, hey, this is the reason why Syracuse is going to get back to the NCAA tournament this year?
I think momentum is everything. I feel like from the summertime we had the momentum, coming in here every day, working super hard. And then the fans is behind us this year. I could already feel it, packed out dome for the mid-major games. I can only imagine when we ACC play starts to, come in, when Tennessee comes here. So it's definitely a lot to look forward to. But, as a team, we just take it day by day. And the tournament is definitely in our eyes, and I feel like we're definitely capable of, getting this team back there. And it just feels good to know, like, Syracuse is such a legitimate program and such a big program. They've been down for the past couple of years. So just to try to come in here as a freshman and do everything I can, along with Sadiq, I feel like we could definitely, help get back the team back to the tournament.
What would that mean to you to be the team that gets Syracuse, that gets this program, which, like, when I was growing up, was one of the biggest programs in college basketball? I think that it's one of the most passionate fan bases in college basketball. I've said it before, college basketball is better when Syracuse is really good. What would it mean to you to be able to get this program back into that national spotlight like that?
It'll mean everything, not just for me, but for the team, just to know, my guys, they come here every day. We work super hard. We go at it every day in practice just to, have a sense of like a little bit of that work is paying off, getting to the tournament, not really to do it for like the outside people, but just for us because we work super hard. And, that's really a main goal of ours to get to the tournament. And we know we have the capable players to do it and the coaching staff. And I feel like, it'll definitely help Coach Red with his breakthrough year, give him a lot of momentum for the guys that's coming after us. And I feel like we're the team that's going to, put Syracuse back on the map.
So, Kiyan, here's how old I am. I'm wearing the hat to have the gray hair, but I broke your dad's commitment back when he committed to Syracuse. I broke the news of that one years ago. Your dad, I don't know him super well, but I know him over the years, been around him enough.
Yeah.
I think he gets a bad rap sometimes. I was telling Pete Moore, your SID, before we started this. I'm like, I don't think people realize what a good dude your dad is and how I feel like he's always got a smile. Again, he's always got time for everybody. Does that ever bother you that sometimes maybe people don't know your dad and that side of him?
I mean, I wouldn't say it bothers me, but definitely, it feels some type of way because, I'm with him every day. He has a smile on his face every day. Like, even if he's having a down day, he never lets that linger. He always tries to find the positive in everything. So I think just him being a basketball player for all those years, people kind of forget, like, who he is as a person. And I feel like people in the NBA, people, in college, that's kind of all people want to see is just how good you're doing on the court, but not, how good of a person you are off the court. And I feel like that matters too. And, my dad is definitely a great person and he tries to do everything. It gets to a point like he kind of just lives up to it, kind of just sits back and just let the media, the people do their thing. But deep down, he knows, like, there's nothing that could take him off his pivot. So he going to keep being who he is.
Does he have the best podcast covering the NBA right now?
Yeah, number one by far.
the Mero, the kid Mero.
Yeah.
That might be the perfect guy for him to be on the podcast
sure.
with. Yeah.
Sure.
Hey, what's the one thing that people don't know about you? I know you're a big gamer. What's kind of the one thing that people just really don't know about you yet, Kai?
I mean, like when I step out the house, I'm kind of in the spotlight at all times. Like, so when I'm in the house by myself, that's really my only time to like, decompress and kind of just think about being regular for a little bit and talking to my friends and being on a video game. So I feel like it's little stuff that everyday people do, just playing the game, making some food, being with my friends. So I feel like that's the side that people kind of forget about. Like, even though we got all of these eyes on us as freshmen and coming up, we still 17, 18, 19 years old trying to, find a way. So I think people forget about that. And one thing about me, I always try to stay like as humble as possible, as level-headed as possible. And, doing regular stuff like that helps me.
Yeah, you're good at this media thing, by the way. I think you could.
Yeah, I watched my dad do it my whole life, so it's kind of picked up.
But it comes right. It's true though. You like you said, you watch him do interviews. You watch him, be approached by people all the time. Yeah. So you see how and I do. I think that's listening to you now. I think that is something people can kind of get a sense, Rob, is how Kiyan acts with people. Well, he got that from his father. Trust me. Like, I've seen it enough. People coming up to Melo all the time. And that dude has time for absolutely everybody. All right, I'm going to hit you with the hardest hitting question of this whole deal. All right, ready? You can pick one freshman in this class not named Kiyan Anthony. And it can't be your teammate. It can't be your teammate. Who are you taking? If you could pick one dude to go to war with, first pick in this class, who is it?
My first pick, Nigel James. That's my high school teammate. That's my brother. That's my backcourt.
I should have said that one too. This is hard.
I know what you're trying to ask, but if that question was like that, I would say Nigel James. But definitely another freshman that I feel like we have similar games and we kind of play a little bit of like Malik Thomas. That's also my close friend. So I feel like every time in camp, and stuff like that, we on the same team. We definitely share the ball together. We definitely get our buckets. And when we're on opposing teams at camps and stuff, we go at it. So I don't know if you've seen a clip. We was at top 100. We was going at it. We was almost ready to fight each other, but after it's all laughs and it's all love. So that's definitely my brother.
Yeah, I have seen that clip, Kiyan. So I was a little surprised that you said him. Last thing I got for you, and then we'll let you get out of here. What is the one thing that you guys need to be able to do? If we look up in late February and March, and it's like Syracuse is up there with North Carolina and Duke and Louisville and NC State and some of those other teams at the top of the ACC competing for an ACC championship. What's the most important thing that has to happen between now and then?
The most important thing that has to happen, I think we just got to dig in and just master our roles, like as players. You know, on a basketball team, everybody has their designated role. And I feel like if each of us can master our role, we will be super good. And just kind of throw all of the individual selfish stuff out the window, just kind of buy into the team. And then on the court, I would say we got to rebound because, you know, we got an undersized 5 in William Kyle. He still be snagging a lot of rebounds. So the guards got to do a better job of getting in there, myself included, and, you know, just grabbing some more rebounds. I feel like against teams like Houston and Kansas, if we limit them to one shot, and I'm taking our offense over their offense. So if we limit them to one shot and, you know, we get back and play some defense, I feel like, you know, we got a good chance. And I feel like against those high-level teams, rebounding is definitely the number one factor.
Yeah, you put on all that muscle and you're not going to hit free throws. You might as well get some rebounds, right?
Right. I mean, hopefully I have free throws in the team.
All right, time. Remember, next time when the interview's at 2:00, what time are you supposed to be here?
1:55.
Good job.
Listen, this was fun. I mean, this is a blast. I can't wait to see you out in Vegas next week.
Yes, sir.
This showed a side of you that I don't think a lot of people see. And I think that's important, man. That's important.
Yes,
Keep just kind of buying into your role, man. Keep being the best in your role you can, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys.